She fell after blanking her opening set 6-0. The entire globe is now observing her every move in Abu Dhabi. Nobody anticipated the doubles match, the true stakes, or the internet drama. Welcome back to Champions Tennisics, ladies and gentlemen. The location where we live the drama, analyze the strain, and crown the queens of the court instead of just watching the game. I hope you're seated because I'm about to tell you one of the most complex and emotionally charged stories in women's tennis right now. Furthermore, it goes beyond tennis. It has to do with perseverance. It has to do with atonement. It is the story of a 20-year-old Manila girl who, since she was a teenager, has carried the hopes of an entire country on her back. And now, in the scorching desert heat of Abu Dhabi, the moment of truth is coming. You have already seen it if you have spent the previous 48 hours browsing through your feeds. You've watched the videos. You've read the headlines. You have witnessed the fury taking over all social media platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Around Alexandria Eala, a storm has been building. Furthermore, it goes beyond her tennis skills. It concerns how athletes who dare to come from a nation that the rest of the sports media has traditionally ignored are treated by the international community. The internet is ablaze with a viral scandal between our girl Alex and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, and whether or not you accept all of the story's details. Furthermore, anything that touches a nerve and has genuine passion behind it spreads more quickly in the social media age. There is genuine love for Alex Eala. There is genuine anger on behalf of Filipino athletes, as well as the strain Alex is feeling when she takes the court in Abu Dhabi today. That's as authentic as it gets. Here's the problem, though. We are tennis champions. We discuss more than just the drama. We dissect tennis. We provide you with the facts. We explain what really transpired, what is truly at risk, and why this particular match, which is taking place right now, matters more than nearly everything else on the WTA schedule this week. So, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be an adventure. The Australian Open is when this whole story really starts to come together, so let's start there. One of the most anticipated players on the entire women's tour, Alex Eala, made an appearance in a Melbourne park 3 weeks ago. She achieved a career-high ranking of number 49 in the world. She had just defeated Olympic silver medalist Donovic to win the Kwong Classic title after making it to the semi-finals of the ASB Classic in Auckland. She was urinating. She exuded confidence. "I want to say this is the best I have ever played," she even said to the media prior to the game. "I believe I'm in a terrific place right now." And she demonstrated it for one set. In the first round, Alex drew Alicia Parks, an American. A formidable foe with a serve that can travel close to 200 kilometers per hour. However, Eala was flawless during that first set. She commanded every rally, broke Parks early, and gave Parks a bagel in 34 minutes. 6-love. Not even a game. Court CXS Filipino audience was going completely crazy. Her name was being chanted like it was a football stadium, with Philippine flags flying everywhere. It appeared as though Alex Eala was going to make her Grand Slam stage debut with the strongest possible declaration during that one set. Then everything broke down. Parks, a seasoned performer who has been with the tour since 2017, just got back together. She discovered her serve. She began to hit her spots. She started acting more aggressively. And Eala began to lose control of the momentum, that lovely, delicate momentum she had created. Parks rallied to win both the second and third sets, 6-3 and 6-2, respectively. The reversal was breathtaking. Eala did rescue 2 points throughout the contest. Despite her fight, Parks ultimately left the court to sign autographs for the hundreds of Filipino fans who had gathered to see her. Eala was polite after the game. "It was so endearing," she said. "That is among the factors that make a loss like today somewhat more difficult. You could tell from the tone of her voice that many people were cheering me on. Both the thanks and the sadness were sincere." She made her debut in the main draw of the Australian Open. This was a significant event. Even in defeat, she maintained her dignity. Alex is that person. She is that person. Keep that in mind since it affects everything that follows. Where does she go after? Melbourne. She returns home, to Manila, to the Philippines. Because the Philippine Women's Open, the nation's first WTA 125 tournament, was being held immediately after the Australian Open. Playing professionally in front of a home crowd for the first time was extremely emotional for a girl who has spent her entire career pursuing goals abroad. Eala was the top-ranked Filipino player in the draw and the second seed. She defeated Russian Elena Kuriva 6-1 6-2 in the opening set, essentially as payback for Kuriva's 2020 victory over her. Then, mercilessly, she defeated Himeno Saketsum of Japan 64-6 love, dominating in the second round. At the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center, the atmosphere was electrifying. 2,000 crammed seats, chanting and singing along with every word. The quarterfinal, however, followed. Former world number 33 Camila Osorio of Colombia, a clay court expert with equal parts grit and grind, took the court and outcompete when it counted most. In both sets, took early leads. In the first, she led 3-2, and in the second, she led 3-2 once more. Osorio clawed back both times. 64-6-4 was the final score. Tight and close, but Osorio made the last move. Eala was kind after the game. "It was so heartwarming," she remarked. "That is among the factors that make a loss like today somewhat more difficult. You could tell from the tone of her voice that many people were cheering me on. Both the thanks and the sadness were sincere." She made her debut in the main draw of the Australian Open. This was a significant event, and she maintained her dignity despite losing. That's Alex. She is that person. Keep that in mind since it affects everything that follows. Where does she go after Melbourne, then? She returns to her native Manila. Returning to the Philippines, the country was holding its first WTA 125 competition, the Philippine Women's Open, immediately following the Australian Open. Playing professionally in front of her home fans for the first time was extremely emotional for a girl who has spent her entire career pursuing goals elsewhere. Eala was the top-ranked Filipino player in the draw and the second seed. She defeated Russian Elena Kuriva 6-1 6-2 in the opening set, essentially as payback for Kuriva's 2020 victory over her. Then, in the second round, she defeated Japan's Himeno Saketsum 64-6 love with brutal dominance. At the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center, the atmosphere was electrifying. 2,000 crammed seats, chanting and singing along with every word. The quarterfinal, however, followed. Former world number 33 Camila Osorio of Colombia, a clay court expert with equal parts grit and grind, took the court and outperformed when it counted most. In both sets, Eala established the early advantage. In the first, she led 3-2, and in the second, she led 3-2 once more. Osorio clawed back both times. 64-6-4 was the final score. Tight and close, but Osorio made the last move. Eala handled it nicely. "I did not pass this level today, but what is important is that I am here in Manila," she told the raucous crowd following the game. "I am grateful for the presence of the WTA here in the Philippines." In addition to $3,450 in prize money, she received 27 ranking points. Although the statistics weren't revolutionary, they were remarkable for tennis in the Philippines. The first ever WTA competition to take place in the Philippines. And the supporters had 2 victories and a quarter-final run to celebrate thanks to their national idol. After packing her belongings, she took a plane to Abu Dhabi. The Mubala Abu Dhabi Open is not just any competition, thus this is the point at which we must discuss it. It's a WTA 500 event. That is the second level of significance on the women's tour, directly beneath the Grand Slams and WTA 1000 events. The prize money up for grabs is more than $1.2 million. The field and the champion both have 500 ranking points. The top seed is Belinda Bencic, the reigning champion. Just 10 months after giving birth to her daughter, the Swiss superstar produced one of the most incredible comebacks in tennis history by winning this very title last year. After her amazing run at the Australian Open, Elena Rybakina, the 2022 Wimbledon winner, withdrew from the field. The second seed is Alexandrova. The list is endless and includes Paula Badosa, Emma Navarro, and Yelena Ostapenko. Eala is entering this event as a wild card, and it is a significant tournament with serious talent. A wild card. Take a moment to consider that. She's not sitting down. Her position was not earned only by rankings. It was necessary to send her an invitation that provides some insight into her current position in the hierarchy. She is still the underdog despite ranking 49th in the world. She still needs to demonstrate something. And she has to do just that in the round of 32 today. The Z Sports City International Tennis Center is the location. A seemingly simple overhead may turn into a total disaster if you lose concentration for even a split second due to the hard courts, quick surface, harsh sun, and whirling wind. It is a stunning arena that is already bustling with Filipino supporters who have come to Abu Dhabi specifically to see their princess perform. In the days preceding the competition, A has been seen on the practice courts, smiling for the cameras and appearing focused and sharp. Before the event began, she made a post on Instagram. "Hello everyone, I am thrilled to be back in the United Arab Emirates and am eager to play in court." She is carrying that enthusiasm with her this week. Enthusiasm, unadulterated competitive hunger, not fear or hesitation. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Eala's opponent, Sonmez of Turkey, is waiting for her in the round of 32, so the draw has given her something intriguing, almost poetic. You are already familiar with this moniker if you have been a long-time fan of Champions Tennis. Let me explain though, if you're new here. Turkish tennis player Sonmez, 23, is presently ranked 112th in the world. She's getting up quickly. She is dangerous, and in recent weeks, people throughout Europe and the Middle East have been drawn to her story. Sonmez joined the Australian Open through qualifying, which required her to go through 3 rounds in order to advance to the main draw. When she arrived, she defeated Ekaterina Alexandrova, the 11th seed, in the opening round. She then advanced to the 3rd round by defeating Anna Bonder 62-6-4 in straight sets. She became the first Turkish player to advance to the Australian Open's 3rd round during the Open era. Sonmez later told reporters, "She could not even hear my own thoughts, due to the loud and fervent Turkish throng in Melbourne." She lost to Yulia Pututa of Kazakhstan in the 3rd round. It was a war, too. Sonmez was defeated 6-3 in the opening set, but she rallied to win the 2nd set in a tiebreak. After a back and forth in the decisive 3rd set, Putin won 6-3. A tiebreak after 3 sets. SC offered everything she had. She left the court as a hero in Turkey, despite the loss. Therefore, the woman who is facing Eala on the court today is not a passive, undemanding foe. She had a surge of self-assurance. At a Grand Slam, she just made history for her nation. She has nothing to lose and is playing the best tennis of her career. However, since this is not a matchup between 2 strangers, this is when things start to get extremely interesting. SC and Eala are acquainted. They are familiar with one another. These two have met several times.